You know, I'm working on a science fiction video using AI. It's crazy. Man, I wish we had this in the 80s. It hasn't been easy, but it sure has been fun. And I've been learning a few tricks along the way, so I'm going to share those tricks with you. This video will cover the first trick, generating images that are not blurry. I started by creating a whole bunch of images. They were pretty blurry. Each new generation seemed like it was getting worse, you know, kind of like a copy of a copy of a copy. I didn't realize it until I had my whole storyboard worked out. And I took a closer look and I'm like, wait a minute, something's not right. And it turned out that my original source reference was a little blurry. And that blurriness kind of just carried on and compounded with each new generation. Also, my character sheet was only 1K, so that was pretty small, and that I think contributed as well. Having a bad source image meant that all my image generations from that point on would have a problem. They just would be lousy outputs. So first, I'd have to pick a source image that's a little bit more clear and, well, not blurry. And as a result, I was able to create a much better character sheet. And that meant clearer images on initial generation, without doing any upscaling. I've noticed that when you upscale images, they tend to change ever so slightly, not just the resolution, but the, artifacts will show up. And when you're working on a video that uses the start and end method, so in other words, you have a start image and an end image, and it's basically, animating in between, okay? If there are noticeable differences in the background or the set of the second image, then that's going to take away from the realism of the shot. So I prefer not to use upscaling if I don't have to. I'm sure that there's better upscalers. I'm not going to buy Topaz. It's too expensive for me. So that's a problem. So let's talk about how I dealt with this problem step by step. Let me show you two processes. First, creating the character sheet, and second, using that character sheet for additional images, and especially in a scenario where you want that start to end image and you want, consistency in set, not just in character. You want both consistency in the character and the set. All right, so I'm going to use my computer now here. I'm using OpenArt today. First, I'll provide my source image and prompt, create a white background character sheet of a World War II American soldier. No text. Include 4 poses. Full body profile, so face close up, real close. No, not that close. And face close up profile. Remember to generate your images at 16:19 and at a 4K resolution. That was a mistake I made. 1K just isn't enough for a character sheet. All right, and just like that, we have a character sheet and it looks great. Now let's use the character sheet. We reference the character sheet like so. Let's prompt, use the provided World War II soldier character sheet as a strict reference. Preserve his exact face, uniform, helmet, and insignia. Full body view. Let's see here. And then, I use ChatGPT to fill in, some of the details here. I close out the prompt with, cinematic, a little bit about the atmosphere and some of the color tones. I'm asking that it be photorealistic in this case, because we're not doing cartoons this time. And here we have our soldier in a European forest. Great. See how that worked? Not hard at all, huh? Now from here we can do a lot. Maybe the character is going to stop and get something to eat. There's no McDonald's in the forest, so we're going to have to maybe do some rations or something. Let's see. To do that, I will have him... Now I want him to stay in the same spot. I don't want the camera moving. And I want to retain the best quality of him. So instead of basing it solely on the original image, I'm going to provide the character sheet along with the image of him in the forest. This will retain the best quality of the character. So that's the trick. Don't just build upon prior versions. Instead, add two images. One image that represents the set, and the other image that represents the character. And if the character is already in the set, that's okay, because it'll just increase the likeness of the character, okay? And the quality of the character. I'm prompting, use the character sheet as a strict reference. Once again, in the forest location, do not move the camera, very important, same framing and angle. The only change is the action. The World War II soldier is sitting or crouched quietly eating a field ration with his hands. Cinematic, realistic World War II atmosphere, muted green and brown tones, shallow depth of field, and photorealistic. And there you go. Looks great, huh? That was easy. We learned a few things here. It's important to have a good original reference source. Number two, if you keep building upon the prior image, then you will run into this copy of a copy of a copy problem, and it'll begin to change in weird ways. So to avoid that, always use your character sheet as a reference, and make sure you tell AI to use the character sheet as a strict reference. Okay, I hope that was helpful. Thanks for watching, and I will be showing at least 4 more tricks that I learned recently, so and probably many more because I'm still working on this sci-fi video. Bye-bye.